If you're a DC fan, you should know that the franchise transition to movies failed with the DCEU. However, history is about to repeat itself with the newly rebranded DCU the franchise is building. The DCU's rebrand has made a crucial franchise mistake, but what could that mistake have been? Also, the DCU's problems have made the 2022 Batman even better. Keep watching for more information on all of these in this video. Firstly, the DCU's future remains a source of concern. While the prospect of a brand new DC universe being meticulously created by the recently established DC Studios is intriguing, concerns remain about the DCU's future. Given how many changes both Warner Brothers and DC have gone through in the past few years, it seems natural that the studio lacks confidence. Also, given that Black Adam, starring The Rock, was supposed to be the start of a new chapter in the series, only for another new DCU to be promised a few days later. Although the DC Universe's future is always shifting, if James Gunn and Peter Safran's ideas for the property are formally made public, this situation could end. Not even a full DCU can be ruled out just now. The cancellation of Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 casts uncertainty on the future of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and the whole Justice League cast. According to THR, recasting all DC characters to start the DCU from scratch is a possibility, which would mean that Man of Steel 2, starring Henry Cavill, does not happen, and Jason Momoa plays Lobo instead of Aquaman. All of the issues concerning the future of the DC universe have never been closer to being resolved than they are now, 5 years after Justice League. So, the question is Black Adam the DCU's restart? While it needed to be clarified what direction the DC Extended Universe should have taken after Justice League, the closest thing to a comprehensive plan was a panel discussion on the concept of a multiverse at DC Fandom 2020. This event included Jim Lee, the Chief Creative Officer of DC, Greg Berlanti, the producer of the Arrowverse, and Walter Hamada, the former president of DC Films. It appeared that the multiverse would shape the future of the DC Extended Universe, with Michael Keaton's Batman appearing in The Flash and Keaton's Dark Knight scheduled to appear in the now canceled Batgirl. However, everything changed once Warner Brothers Discovery and Walter Hamada parted ways. Now, the newly relaunched DCU's future was once again in question, while Black Adam, the first DC film to be produced under the Warner Bros. Discovery banner, could have served as the DCU's resurgence. Although Black Adam was not one of DC's most well-known characters, Dwayne Johnson had a proven track record with franchises. Also, his star power combined with Henry Cavill's return as Superman could have laid the groundwork for a brand new DC Extended Universe. However, the fact that James Gunn and Peter Safran's ideas for DC Studios were revealed less than a week after Black Adam's debut implies that there was still no agreement inside WBD on the direction of the DCU. Also, not to mention Black Adam's underwhelming box office performance. So, could DCU have two movie franchises, one based on Black Adam and the other on Gunn and Safran's designs? While Peter Safran and James Gunn are expected to finish their plans for the DC universe, Dwayne Johnson has already made comments about things like a Black Adam versus Superman fight not being the franchise's next movie, but rather something for a later time. As a result, The Rock's intentions for the DC universe diverged from those of James Gunn's DC Studios, at least for the time being. If there were a sequel to Black Adam or a Superman vs. Black Adam film, there might be two separate DC franchises, one based on Black Adam and the other on Gunn and Safran's ideas. But it's quite improbable that will happen, since James Gunn's DC Studios promises a single world for use in films, television shows, and even video games. It would be absurd to have two separate DCU events running simultaneously. Despite this, the Joker films by Todd Phillips and The Batman by Matt Reeves don't have a common universe with any other DC series. The Joker is receiving a follow-up, Joker, Folie à Deux, while The Batman is getting a spin-off on HBO Max that centers on the Penguin and are anticipated to generate further spin-offs. Surprisingly, Gunn mentioned on Mastodon that Matt Reeves was one of the first people he called after landing the position. Next up, James Gunn and Peter Safran will not have a clean slate because of Black Adam. James Gunn, who directed The Suicide Squad, and producer Peter Safran was named to head a newly established DC Studios for Warner Bros. Discovery on October 25, 2022. Gunn and Safran will map out the DC universe over the next 10 years, and according to Gunn, this will encompass not only live-action films, but also TV series, animation, and video games. James Gunn made sure to mention that DC Studios would be concentrating on the future of the DC brand, even if the term reboot was never uttered. As a result, aspects such as the Ayer cut of 2016's Suicide Squad would not be prioritized. However, Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam had already been released in theaters less than a week before the DC Studios announcement, resulting from a protracted marketing push by The Rock that emphasized how the Black Adam movie would signal the start of a new DC universe. On several occasions, Dwayne Johnson indicated that Black Adam would change the balance of power in the DC universe and act as the catalyst for fresh plotlines. Black Adam was even referred to by The Rock as Phase 1 of the DC world on Twitter, indicating that the movie was intended to be the DC equivalent of Iron Man and the start of a shared universe. Despite Dwayne Johnson's description of Black Adam as Phase 1, it was not a DCEU relaunch. Black Adam has 3 characters from the old DCEU, even though it doesn't explicitly reference earlier DCEU movies. In addition to Amanda Waller from the Suicide Squad and Agent Harcourt from Peacemaker, Henry Cavill appeared as Superman in Black Adam. Black Adam's plot developments and James Gunn's DC Studios' ambitions appear to be mutually incompatible, at least for the time being, as the latter does not currently have a blank canvas on which to start a new DCU film franchise, whether through a total reboot or not. Then we have DCU's Rebrand, which has made a critical franchise mistake. Even though the DC Universe has been renamed the DCU, many uncertainties remain regarding the DC Universe's future and the franchise's future directions. The DCEU is now known as the DC Universe or the DCU, but this franchise rebranding has already committed a significant error. Although the phrase DC Extended Universe or DCEU was not coined by any DC filmmaker or Warner Brothers, but rather an EW story on Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice in 2015. Additional DC Films producers eventually adopted and alluded to the concept to refer to the shared universe that started with Man of Steel. The DC movie fandom and pop culture media coined the phrase DCEU. However, that run of movies and TV episodes is currently being reimagined. The former DCEU had several issues almost 10 years after Man of Steel. The DCEU's enormous promise, the potential of the DC characters, was not fully realized for various reasons, ranging from divisive films like Batman v Superman to commercial flops like Justice League. The DCEU has had difficulties recently, made more difficult because most of the Justice League characters' futures have become ambiguous after the release of the 2017 film, and the lack of a clear overarching strategy. However, in 2022, 2 distinct promises of a new DC universe were made, one by Dwayne Johnson, the Black Adam producer, and the other by James Gunn, co-CEO of DC Studios. Following that, the Batman universe is more impressive in light of the DCU struggles. The DCU had been experiencing difficulties before Peter Safran and James Gunn took leadership. The entire franchise had been attempted several times, but has yet to develop a coherent strategy. For example, Black Adam was meant to represent a fresh start, but despite Dwayne Johnson's star power and Henry Cavill's Superman appearance, it failed to create the essential box office impact. When David Zaslav was appointed president of Warner Bros. Discovery, he emphasized the significance of the DC trio of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman for the future of the DC Extended Universe. However, Wonder Woman 3 is on life support, and it's unclear what will happen to Superman, and a lot more. The film was so popular that it inspired a sequel and several spin-offs, with more expected to be announced in the near future. Despite significant structural and leadership changes, the Reeves-launched Batman world has managed to maintain its path and cling to its future, which is an extraordinarily astounding achievement and provides optimism for the future. Finally, the DC Universe's issues make the Batman movie even better. The Batman by Matt Reeves seems even more stunning in light of recent developments about the DC Universe. According to reports, James Gunn and Peter Safran, the newly appointed leaders of DC Studios, have been putting a lot of effort into coming up with a new and more unified approach for the upcoming DCU film and TV schedule. They inherited a franchise with a tangled history when they were assigned the challenging task of managing DC Studios under Warner Bros. Discovery. This includes multiple sequels still in the works with ties to Zack Snyder's projects, and various independent films with no ties to the larger Justice League story. One of the standalone titles is The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. Despite a barrage of news of canceling projects planned before Gunn and Safran's entrance, a recent report claims that The Batman 2's production is safe. Also, the production of Wonder Woman 3, which Patty Jenkins will direct, has been halted due to the movie's first treatment being turned down. Additionally, Henry Cavill's future as Superman is uncertain despite his appearance in Black Adam and his widely rumored comeback. Despite all this shocking news, the future of Matt Reeves' Batman universe, including the Batman 2 and TV spin-offs like The Penguin, seems secure. So, that's it guys. Even though the DCU has made a crucial franchise mistake, things can still be corrected with James Gunn and Peter Safran at the helm. Also, when will Matt Reeves' Batman 2 be released? Let's hear your comments in the section below. Don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.